Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 270 of the On Air Advocate. Where at the On Air Advocate, we look to provide education, support, and empowerment for all of those with different abilities, mental and medical illnesses, and their caregivers. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Tammy Flynn, and I am the host and producer of the On Air Advocate. And I am super excited if you are joining us here early this Monday morning or whether you are catching this on the replay. Now, as always, if you think any of the content that we are talking about today could be relevant for anyone in your network or circle, please hit the share button and share the love with others. Well, today we have a spotlight feature on a genetic condition that I want you all to learn more about. And I have back here today with me Daisy Vogt. She has been here before, so she's a returning guest. So excited to have you here. And Daisy is an MPS mom, which we're going to learn more about MPS in a few moments, but she's also an integrative nutrition health coach. So if you go back to our last segment we did, we talked a bit about that as well. So you play you have many hats, Daisy.
All moms wear a lot of hats, so I think that's the norm nowadays already.
Yes, and I'm so excited for you to be back here. And I'm learning just as well as all the audience is learning today about this genetic condition that does fall into the rare disease category, and that's called MPS. So can you give me just a short definition of what MPS is?
Of course, Tammy. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you to everybody who's joining us. So, I love sharing about MPS just because, first of all, nobody ever knows what it is, and
Mhm.
nobody can even pronounce the word. So,
Yes.
we're it took me years to learn how to say it properly. So, MPS actually stands for Mucopolysaccharidoses.
Mhm.
Um, and anybody that has any kind of medical background will know muco has to do with mucus and stuff like that. But basically, for the simple layman's terms, MPS children, basically their bodies don't provide the enzymes that all our bodies normally make to break down toxins like sugar, toxins like, any kind of dirt and nasty stuff. They're called gags.
Okay.
um, Gag is that name of the things that normally build up in the children's bodies. So there's many different variations of MPS, but it happens to about one in every about 250,000 to 500,000 kids, depending on where in the world they're born. And it's really difficult to get diagnosed, and we just really need to get more awareness for it so that our kids can have a better life.
Yes, and as we were talking about before the show, MPS has that range of different categories, right? It goes from something that you may not even know that you have to
Mhm.
a degenerational like syndrome, a deteriorational syndrome that
Absolutely.
can eventually take your life. So
Yes.
the wide
Yeah.
gamut.
Very wide gamble.
And for yourself, your son has MPS, and I would just love for you to tell the audience a little bit about your personal story, because you and your husband were the ones who actually found it, diagnosed it, all of those things. So, can you share that with us today?
Yeah, of course, I'd love to. So, our story started about, well, 13 years ago now. That's when I met him, basically, when I met my stepchildren and when I met my husband. And Harvey had always had issues like with getting sick really easily. Like every time it rained, basically, in the Dominican Republic, which it rains quite a bit, he would get sick. They would have a hard time finding his veins to like to pull and draw blood. He always had breathing issues. He was always in the hospital. Couldn't walk properly anymore. He had problems like holding, when you go to the bathroom, he had some issues there. So there was always issues, which for a boy of 4, nearly 5 years old, wasn't really that normal anymore.
Right.
So when I came into their lives, basically, Harvey was 4 turning 5, and my daughter was about 7 turning 8. And I just thought, something's really off here. It's not normal that a child is always sick and has so many problems in the hospital that it was basically like torture just to try and get a blood sample from him. It was horrible. And so in the United States, it's a little bit different because most states do have screening for MPS, especially if you have a family history of it, because it is purely genetic. Like it's not something you can catch. It has to be from both parents. They have to have this gene. And so we went through years of searching. We ended up having to get his blood taken by a specialist in the capital city in the Dominican, have his blood sent from this little island in the Caribbean all the way to the other side um, of Latin America to Chile, where we had his blood tested, and then they finally came back and told us it was MPS 6. So MPS 6, his version doesn't affect neurological issues,
Mhm.
which a lot of the other MPSs do. So most children, most parents will notice that their kids don't talk, that their kids are having trouble with the walking even earlier than with Harvey. Harvey's is one where it kind of goes okay, and then depending on how much you can help him or not, he'll start to degenerate over time. We were lucky when we initially got his diagnosis, he was 7. We were able to take him to the United States. We were able to talk to proper specialists, and then we were able to move to Mexico, where we got him the only treatment that's possible, which is called enzyme replacement therapy. That's the only treatment they have for anybody with MPS, and not even for all MPS types, because
Okay.
not all MPSs need the same enzymes. So, with this enzyme replacement therapy, they actually infuse him every week, or all MPS kids that can. They get a 5-hour infusion every week where they get these enzymes shot into their blood so it can clean the body, so it can clean the organs, and so the degeneration isn't that bad. Um, because with Harvey, we only were able to start that. It was his 10th birthday. It was half a year before his 10th birthday. It was already quite late, and basically, well, we're dealing with all the degeneration that had already happened.
Right.
In the US, if kids start, like if they're screened and born and started and they know they have MPS, they get started within the first week of birth already with their first infusion, just to
Oh,
make
wow.
sure that their body doesn't have to go through that much degeneration. Um, but so, I mean, now we're dealing with whatever, what we have to. And he's been receiving ERT now for 7, nearly 8 years, and he's been doing amazing. So we're so grateful for that. But then again, there's so many MPS types that won't even benefit from that because it's just too much for the bodies of the children to deal with. And normally a lot of them regretfully don't even make it to adulthood. They're gone before they hit the teenage years, which is just so sad.
Yes. And is there a lot of research being done on this to come up with other treatments, or is really the only treatment available right now is those enzymes? And I guess this is a two-part question. If you're utilizing the enzymes and you're getting that, whether it's since birth or like with Harvey, since the age of 10, is there ever a point that you get to stop taking the enzymes? Or is this a lifelong, as long as you're in existence, you'll be taking these enzymes? And then, onto that, is there any other type of treatment available, or are they working on in research, other types of treatments?
Okay, so first part. There are, apart from ERT, some of the different MPSs can benefit from gene therapy.
Okay.
So they are doing a lot of studies in those, and they have had some really awesome results. These studies have had to be stopped. They were being done over in Italy. They actually managed to get one child, and this sounds so little because it's one child, but they managed to get one child to start producing their own enzymes again after the gene therapy, which was like, wow.
Right.
But
Yeah.
then which it's amazing, but when COVID happened, like these things had to be stopped regretfully. So hopefully at one point that will work again. And we'll be able to do more research. There is a wonderful society, and they do a lot of research for it to try and help the kids. Maybe not our generation, but hopefully the future generations. I mean, as if we can help one, if we can help the next generation, that's already worth it, right?
Yeah.
Because apart from ERT, there's not really much that can be done. It's something that has to be done continuously until the end of life. Some families, when they start to notice that ERT really isn't helping that much anymore, they also opt out of it. And then basically the children go into respite, and you kind of know what's coming.
Hmm.
Um, because once their body doesn't respond to the fresh enzymes, all you have is toxins building up in like the brain, let's say, right? And if your toxins building up in the brain, your body's going to go into seizures, your organs are going to stop working, and there's really nothing else you can do for it. What I have found through my research and through my studies, I have come across a technology, I want to call it, but it's all natural. So it is a natural technology that helps the body produce enzymes. I've been using that on Harvey for 5 years now. And just like when he started getting ERT, it was really fascinating to watch how when his body started getting those enzymes, like he started snoring less, he started having less congestion issues because like this thing was cleaning his body, right? And with this natural enzyme producer that I found, he's been sleeping better, he's getting more mobility. So I do see that things are working, but it's, you know, it's a supplement, it's an activation, it's a herbal thing. It's nothing medical or anything that's been studied. It's just what I'm doing and what I share because I see it working with Harvey. On the mainstream, there's not really anything else apart from the ERT that's available for the kids.
And when you're talking about those natural supplements and doing things more in that naturopathic, I guess you'd say, way,
Mm-hmm.
and adding that on, I see a ton of that in the rare disease community. That a lot of times, especially even like for pain management and things like that, they're just not finding that sometimes the over-the-counter things or the things prescribed are working correctly. So a lot of parents dive into that area to find, other things that they can add on that may help. So that's wonderful, that he is finding, benefits from that. Now, is there an MPS society organization in the United States and outside of the United States? And if so, where are those located?
Yeah, worldwide, there are different countries that have their own societies. The Canadian one was the one I first got in contact with, but the US one is amazing. I've been in touch with them now, obviously, also for the past couple of years. So the MPSsociety.org, they do races, they do charities, they do research, they do benefits. They've got a big MPS gala coming up now on the 15th because that's MPS Awareness Day. So they have a huge gala with some, what are they called? Celebrities that are going to perform and stuff. So they do a lot of work and a lot of research to try and help. Worldwide, I would always say connect with the American or the Canadian societies first if you're looking for help. And then they will guide you because they also guided me to the Mexican when we moved over to Mexico and put me in touch with them there. So they will help. It's a very small community and we all try to stick together because we realize how rare we are and how rare our children are.
Yes. And if people want to get involved, they want to learn more, they want to volunteer their time, they want to help, build awareness. Would you say that would be the same spot to get involved? I mean, I did see on their site that they're having that big event on May 15th. So that's always a good thing to share out there and put out there for others to help raise funds and whatnot for research and all of that. But do you know if through the society there's different opportunities to do that, to get involved and be able to share?
Yes, 100%. They have different races throughout the year. Like we do a lot of 5Ks. We're doing a lot of virtual races, obviously, at the moment, because that's kind of the only way. But we also do like all the different families actually do fundraisings individually themselves as well. So we share a lot of that on that website as well. And even in groups, I mean, even on my website, I'll often share different fundraisers that are going on just to try and get some more awareness because, it's a rare community.
Yes. But, within this community through the On Air Advocate, I find that all the different topics that we talk about in rare disease, whether they're finding it on a Facebook Live or they're finding it on a podcast, there definitely is those around the world that are searching for people like yourself to connect with other moms, they can find that support from, and maybe they haven't heard of the network. So, Daisy, I know that you do a lot, with the integrative nutritional coaching and all of that, and you've done a lot for Harvey, with things that you found that you work for you. If somebody's listening and they want to get in touch with you, throw some mom questions at you, all of that kind of thing, where would they do that?
Well, either you can connect with me through my Facebook site, my name Daisy Vasquez Vogt, or also through my website activatedlifebydaisyv.com. I go by Daisy V just because it's easier, so you'll find me online that way. Um, or even go through the MPS Society and connect with them directly and ask. I mean, we're all here to help. We have groups that are called online called MPS. We have MPS mom groups. You know, they're all out there. All you have to do is search. And if you want to get in touch with me, obviously, with no problem, I've connected to so many families worldwide that sometimes didn't even know they had MPS and then ended up going, huh, you know what? You look exactly like Harvey. Your condition is exactly like what we're going through. Let's get you some help. So you never know. Everybody's more than welcome to connect with me and Daisy Vasquez Vogt. If you can find me, I'm there and I will help you and direct you and guide you in any way that I can.
Thank you so much. And if possible, when we log off of this interview today, if you are able to possibly drop below in the comments here on Facebook, so somebody
Of course.
easily can find that from yourself. I know that you have your own family support, you know, a group of the MPS Society, and any of those key things that you think really could be helpful for parents. That would be
For
so
sure.
helpful for us as well.
For sure. Hmm.
Right.
Definitely.
Well, thank you, Daisy, so much for sharing. I know that May 15th is MPS Awareness Day. So is there a color we all should be wearing on? Or
Purple. Please wear
purple?
purple. Purple is the color. That's what. And you know what? Purple has always been, since I was a child, my favorite color, and I never even knew that it had to do with MPS. So it's like the perfect calling into my life.
Yes. So I'm sure you have lots of shirts and stuff like that that you can wear.
Everything
Oh,
is purple in my house.
hmm, I love it. So everybody show your purple on May 15th, and I will be sharing some info. And if Daisy puts up some stuff on the 15th as well, I'll be sharing that to this page so you guys can check in with that. So with that, you guys all have a fabulous kickoff to your week. And thank you, Daisy, for joining us here bright and early at the Honor Advocate.
Thank you so much, Tammy. Thank you all for joining, and thank you for helping spread awareness and knowledge about MPS. I really appreciate it.
Very welcome. Thanks so much, everybody, and everybody have a great day. Bye-bye now.